Imagine a brutally difficult web research challenge. So hard, in fact, that a human researcher working manually gives up after 2 hours, having solved only 29% of the problems. The task is a maze of disconnected facts and obscure references, a true test of persistence and ingenuity. Now imagine giving that same challenge to one of the world's most powerful AI models, GPT-4. What's its score? Almost zero, a measly 0.9%. The AI, for all its knowledge, is stumped by the creative, multi-step reasoning required. But then a new kind of AI system steps up. It's not a single model, but a team of them, working together, each with its own specialty. Its score? A remarkable 51.5%. That isn't a small improvement, it's a seismic leap. This is the power of agentic AI, and it's already here, fundamentally changing what's possible. Hello and welcome to Mindcast. I'm your host, Will. For the past couple of years, we've all gotten used to the idea of generative AI. We use tools like ChatGPT or Claude to write an email, summarize a document, or brainstorm ideas. We think of them as incredibly sophisticated but ultimately passive tools. We give them a prompt, they give us a response. End of transaction. But what if that was just the warm-up act? What if the real revolution isn't just about artificial thought, but about autonomous digital action? Today, we are diving deep into a paradigm shift that is quietly happening inside the world's most innovative companies. It's the move from single AI models to complex multi-agent systems. We're talking about AI that doesn't just answer questions, but autonomously executes complex multi-step workflows across different digital environments. This is the world of agentic AI. And our guide today is a fascinating research document on the mixture of agents paradigm. The promise of this episode is simple but critical. By the end of our 20 minutes together, you will understand not just what this technology is, but how it is fundamentally restructuring the nature of work, the architecture of our software, and the very job titles we'll see on corporate ladders in the very near future. This isn't a forecast for 2040, it's a roadmap for the next 18 months. So, let's get into it. So, what is this mixture of agents, or MOA paradigm? At its core, it's built on a fascinating discovery about large language models called collaborativeness. It turns out that AI models, much like humans, generate significantly better results when they can see the work of others first, even if those other models are individually less capable. It's like a brainstorming session where diverse perspectives from different specialists lead to a stronger final idea. The empirical results of this approach are staggering. On competitive benchmarks like Alpaca Eval 2.0, MOA frameworks have achieved win rates of over 65%, significantly outperforming standalone proprietary models like GPT-4 Omni, which scored 57.5%. It's not just about quality, it's also about efficiency. A configuration called MOA Lite was found to match the cost of GPT-4 Omni while outperforming GPT-4 Turbo by 4%, making it more than twice as cost-effective. This proves that a well-orchestrated team of smaller, specialized models can consistently beat a single monolithic giant. So, how does it work in practice? An MOA system is a team of specialized AIs with two distinct roles. First, you have the proposer agents. Think of these as a team of junior researchers. Each one might have a unique specialty sourced from different training methodologies or labs. One is great at sifting through financial data, another is an expert in scientific papers, a third has a knack for creative phrasing. Individually, none of them might have the complete answer, and some of their outputs might even be a little rough, but each one contributes a unique piece of the puzzle. Then you have the aggregator agent. This is the senior editor. The aggregator is a highly capable, powerful model whose one and only job is to take all the messy, sometimes conflicting outputs from the proposers and synthesize them into a single, coherent, and high-quality final answer.
It identifies biases, corrects logical errors, and blends the best parts of each input into a definitive response. A fantastic real-world example of this is a multi-agent research system developed by Anthropic. When a user gives it a complex research query, it doesn't just start Googling. First, a lead researcher agent, the orchestrator, spawns a team of up to 10 specialized worker agents. These are the proposers. Each one is given a very specific subtask, and they go off and investigate in parallel. They search the web, execute code, and analyze data simultaneously. This parallel processing is a game changer. Anthropic found that for complex tasks, this team-based approach can reduce research time by up to 90%. Once the worker agents are done, they report back to the lead researcher, our aggregator, who synthesizes their findings, decides if more research is needed, and finally hands off the compiled report to another specialist, a citation agent, to ensure every claim is properly sourced. What we're seeing here is not just an AI tool, but an AI workflow, an entire digital assembly line designed for a specific purpose that operates autonomously. This is the core engine of the agentic shift.
This brings us to our second major point, and it's a big one. This shift to agentic systems signals the end of software as we've traditionally known it. For decades, software has been deterministic. Human engineers write explicit, rule-based instructions. If this happens, then do that. Every potential state, every API call, every data transition is meticulously coded. But agentic workflows are different. They are driven by autonomous entities that assess context, set their own dynamic goals, and plan over long horizons without constant human input. So how do you connect all these different agents and give them access to the tools they need to actually do things? Historically, connecting a new AI to a company's internal database or a third-party service required writing fragile, custom API bridges. It was slow, expensive, and a security nightmare. Enter the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. The easiest way to think of MCP is as a universal USB-C port for AI. It's an open-source standard that standardizes the connection between AI agents, the clients, and all the tools, databases, and enterprise systems they need to interact with, the servers. With MCP, a company can build one secure server for their customer database, and any authorized AI agent, whether it's from OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google, can plug right in and get to work. This is the scaffolding that allows agentic AI to scale across an entire enterprise, and the adoption of this is happening incredibly fast. The research document lays out a clear trajectory for Fortune 1000 companies by the end of 2026. Right now, most are in the shallow state, maybe experimenting with 1 to 3 of these MCP servers as a pilot program. But by late 2026, the baseline is expected to be the operational state, with 4 to 8 servers deeply integrated.
This is when agentic AI becomes the default way to connect digital systems. The final stage is the embedded state, where a company runs 9 or more servers and the mixture of agents paradigm is fully integrated into their core technological fabric. Only about 15 to 22% of companies are expected to reach this level of maturity by the end of 2026, and they will have a massive competitive advantage. This isn't just a new feature, it's a fundamental re-architecting of the enterprise tech stack. And it's happening right now.
So we have AI that works in teams and a new digital infrastructure for them to operate in. What does this mean for us, for the humans? This is where the story gets really interesting, because the rise of agentic workflows isn't about eliminating jobs, but about a radical evolution of roles. Let's start with software engineers. Their primary constraint is no longer just writing perfect code. It's now managing the context window of an AI agent. An agent's intelligence degrades rapidly as its short-term memory, its context window, fills up. So the new engineering discipline is about designing highly constrained, efficient sub-agents that can do their job without getting overwhelmed.
It's a shift from being a coder to being a systems architect for a digital workforce. Project managers are seeing a similar elevation. The routine administrative parts of their job, gathering status updates, tracking dependencies, nudging people for deadlines, are being fully automated by AI agents that have a real-time view of the entire organization's workflow. This frees up the human PM to shift from being a mechanical administrator to a strategic supervisor. Their new job is to set the boundaries for the AI agents, to define which actions they can take autonomously and which ones require human sign-off. The human becomes the ultimate point of accountability. But beyond the evolution of existing roles, we are seeing the creation of an entirely new taxonomy of corporate job titles. The most significant is the agent manager. A landmark Harvard Business Review analysis made a powerful parallel. Just as the software revolution created the need for the product manager to bridge the gap between engineering and business, the AI revolution demands the agent manager. An agent manager doesn't write code.
Their job is to orchestrate the hybrid workforce of humans and AI agents. They write the job descriptions for digital agents. They design their onboarding processes. They review their outputs, and they manage their performance over time. They are, in a very real sense, the managers of a new, non-human workforce. And there are other new roles emerging in this ecosystem. We're seeing AI philosophers being hired from university philosophy departments by companies like DeepMind to design the ethical boundaries and safety protocols for these autonomous systems. We have vibe coders, individuals who may lack a formal computer science degree but are masters at using natural language prompts to rapidly prototype new applications. Companies like TikTok are already hiring for these roles. At the top of the pyramid, we have the Chief AI Officer, a C-suite executive responsible for the strategic and safe deployment of AI across the entire organization. What this tells us is that managing AI is becoming a distinct, parallel management discipline. A traditional manager handles the relational, emotional, and social dynamics of a human team. An agent manager handles the behavioral, control, and performance dynamics of an agentic system. The companies that understand this distinction are the ones that will lead the way.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. From the core concept of AI teams to the new corporate job titles they're creating. It can feel like a lot. So let's synthesize this all into 3 concrete, actionable takeaways that you can bring back to your own work and thinking. First, it's not about the agent, it's about the workflow. The biggest mistake organizations make is getting fascinated with a shiny new AI tool without reimagining the entire process around it. The real value isn't in adopting an agent, but in redesigning the overarching workflow that involves people, processes, and technology together. Success comes from orchestration, not just implementation. Second, human roles are not disappearing, they are elevating. The recurring theme here is a shift from mechanical execution to strategic oversight. Whether you're a project manager, an engineer, or a team lead, the future of your role will likely involve less direct doing and more defining boundaries, reviewing outputs, and managing the collaboration between human and digital team members. Your value shifts from administration to accountability. And third, start learning the new vocabulary: agent manager, mixture of agents, model context protocol, vibe coder. These aren't just buzzwords, they represent fundamental new concepts in how technology and organizations operate. Familiarizing yourself with this language is the first step toward navigating the agentic era, because you can't be part of a conversation if you don't understand what the words mean.
So, today, we've journeyed from the shocking performance of agentic AI on complex benchmarks all the way to the emergence of the Chief AI Officer in the C-suite. We've seen that this transition represents a permanent restructuring of how we work. It's a philosophical shift toward treating AI not as a passive tool, but as an active, autonomous participant in a new kind of hybrid workforce. The future doesn't belong to the companies with the most agents, but to those who build the most robust frameworks for observability, control, and seamless human-agent collaboration. That's all the time we have for today on Mindcast. Thank you for joining me. If you found this insightful, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next episode. For more information and links to related reading on this topic, be sure to check out the show notes. I'm Will, and I look forward to exploring the future with you again soon.